Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Knoll Zone. This is the Tarda Zone Talks, and we're here to talk about Big Finish because Big Finish is in a lot of trouble, folks. Yes, the pandering, the woke ideology that has infected the stories has affected its profitability. Yes, as we have clearly stated on this channel and many other channels have also, go woke, you go broke. And to be quite honest with you, I'm not surprised. And for me, I always hark back to a moment, and I remember saying this at the time, um, when they started the woke agenda under the feminist agenda under the Jodie Whittaker, Chris Chibnall era. There was a lot of scrutiny on Doctor Who, and that included Big Finish. And Big Finish was actually called out by one of the Time ladies, and they were asked the question of how many female writers they had working on Big Finish. Now, at the time, for a lot of fans, and for a lot of fans out there, it doesn't matter who writes the stories for Big Finish because up until that point, they were well written. Of course, that question was asked. The Whittaker era went into a certain direction, and then Big Finish followed suit. Now, Big Finish always take a while to catch up, but they caught up and they have followed suit. They've been hiring writers and people based off their sexuality or their skin color rather than actually bring in people that are talented. They got rid of a lot. They got a lot. They got rid of a lot of talented people and replaced them with people that are absolutely rubbish at the job. So I have a couple of screenshots to share with you, and then we will obviously then with the reaction of this. But they are 2 million in debt apparently, and I've got the screenshot as well. But this was the first thing that was posted up, and I saw in the chat that I was in, it was posted up, and then I think I saw a few people online posted up on X, and then obviously like Lee then and others got a hold of it, and of course now it's become a thing on uh, X and I think Instagram as well. So this post was put up by Gary, is his name, Gary Lee. So shout out to Gary Lee there. And this was a screenshot that's been going around now. I don't know where this screenshot originated from. It's either Instagram or is it X? I don't know. But has Big Finish Limited hit choppy waters or a Titanic like iceberg? The company's accounts for 2023 have just been released and revealed that the company has now taken a 133,000 bank loan to enable it to remain afloat this year. Right now, before people start bringing up the Disney money, Big Finish is a separate entity on its own. I don't think it comes under that remit at all. But this is the screenshot of the balance sheet, right? So these are all going to see it. So for the people out there that spin Doctor Who ratings and tell everybody that the show and all its merchandise is in a great state, well, you can chew on this and try spin this. So there you go. There's the accounts there. And as you can see down here, we've got a 2 million figure creditors amount uh, falling due to within 1 year. This is the 2 million. So you've got it there. So the debt is 2 million, 2 million at 61,000, 648. There's the debt right there. I think I'm reading the same figures, but then it goes up here as well. So I think that was in 2022. So it has slightly gone from 2022, but there's still over 2 million in debt. So for all those people out there that I believe have been lying to this fandom about the state of Doctor Who and its merchandise and all of this other stuff, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. You're part of the problem of what's happening with this brand, right? Now, Big Finish uh, has managed to go strong ever since the main show disappeared. Big Finish then took up that slack and became a place for Doctor Who fans to continue hear Doctor Who stories. And in my opinion, under the stewardship, the people that it's under right now, they have they have uh, contributed in its demise. It's absolutely. Now, listen, I'm not a huge Big Finish fan, as you all know, right? I've made it clear. I prefer watching rather than hearing stories. That's just me. But there's a lot of people out there that are a huge fan of Big Finish and are very thankful that Big Finish is around because, as I said, they were the ones that picked up the slack when there was no. Well, they filled the void, didn't they? And a lot of fans are grateful to Big Finish. But I knew, look, the warning signs for this were during the Jodie Whittaker era. As soon as the feminists in this fandom start demanding how many writers were working for Big Finish and all of this and demanding the type of stories that they wanted to hear, that's why they're 2 million in debt, right? 2 million in debt, right? And where is his tweet there? Because as you know, you yourselves, yeah, John the White is no matter what people think of John the White, some people will find them this that and the other. I don't really care when it comes to information and stuff and knowing what's going on. He's on the ball. So he wrote this 2 million in debt due in the next 12 months and only 4k in assets. This was September. Were they banking on the 60 to pull their fat out of the fire? I bet it hasn't. And as others have said, Disney have no love for extended media. They won't lift a finger. And that is true, by the way. I just want you to know that that Big Finish is not under this whole Disney thing. So if Big Finish goes, Big Finish goes. This is look at this will be a similar situation where Doctor Who magazine at one point was facing the axe and then people stepped in. This is what's going to need to happen here. Now there are 2 million in debt. You know, I could find a clever way that they could pay off that 2 million, but they'd be beholden to fans like us. We could, with the fans, Doctor Who fans, could help them get out of this situation, but there would be conditions on that, and the conditions would be you don't pander to this crowd anymore. You just write decent fucking stories, and you start making money. Forget about them. Doctor Who, as I said, is not for everybody, and people need to get away from that. Sci-fi is a niche. It's a genre, right? There are plenty of different genres out there for everybody, right? Why Hollywood and why people in the industry think that all of these franchises need to cater to everybody is absolutely ridiculous. And this is why they keep losing money. Disney is losing money. Hollywood in general is losing money. Now Big Finish is losing money. And we know for a fact that Doctor Who is losing money. No matter what these people out there with their YouTube channels spinning how good the ratings are and all of this, they're not good, right? The perception of this show right now is not a good one. And you guys have not helped the situation because you are not coming out and telling the truth, right? It's time for the truth now. This show has been in an awful state for a long time, right? And until someone takes responsibility and someone says, hey, wait a minute, maybe the fans are right. You are not going to correct this situation. That 2 million in debt will rise, and then eventually Big Finish will go out of business. right? And I suspect that that was the plan of the people that were, spearheading Chibnall and all of these other people anyway, right? Because Big Finish resisted for a while to do any of these woke stories. They did hold out, but then eventually they crumbled like every organisation does, and that's it. It's done. It's game over. 2 million in debt. They're going to be, yeah, the bailiffs are going to be at the door. It's, I am so angry right now. I'm not angry about just Big Finish. I'm angry at the fact that there are YouTubers out there and people with influence that are in with the current production team right now. And they could actually make a proper difference. But instead, they want to just go on about all of this other nonsense that's irrelevant rather than give advice to the showrunner, give advice to these people on how they can make the show better for Doctor Who fans, for sci-fi fans. But no, they go along with it because there's perks with going along with the lie. This is a lie, right? This whole situation stinks to high hell. And these people are just as responsible because they will not ever tell the truth about what's happening to this show. And what's happening. I've been reporting on this the last few years about Doctor Who merch sales being down. I've been called a liar by these very same people. He's lying, Noel's lying, the TARDIS own lies. This is all you were getting, right? Other YouTubers out there backed me up and said, he's telling the truth. Look at the numbers. Everything is down, right? The only thing that's doing well is classic merch and some new Who merch from 2005 up to a certain point. That's it. Cinnamon is right. There's too many people turning a blind eye. You need to wake up, right? If you actually care about the show like you actually say you do, you will start speaking up now. This has gone on far enough. This has gone on long enough, right? What needs to be destroyed? See, this is why I hate the human race, right? Because we always wait for something bad to happen before we react, rather than react before that bad thing fucking happens. Right? It's as simple as that. If we react now, Big Finish is saved. We react now, Doctor Who can be saved. It'll be a slow road, but you can win fans back over. Once you start going, you go back to basics. I've been saying this now for a long time. You need to go back to basics. No, this is not a pre-record. This is live. I said I could do. I can't have panelists on at the moment. I've explained to PD and Queen Charlotte and all those other people that do panels with me, and they've been very understanding. I have to say. I hope to get them all back in February, right? But for now, all my computer can handle is just me and this mic. I can't even have the camera on, guys. That's what I'm saying. I'd normally be on. I can't even have the camera on. It's that bad right now. Right, I'm after being cleared the stuff off this computer. I've got 5 years of fucking stuff to clear off the computer. I've been doing it last night, and then as soon as I finish this live stream, after I do the dishes and all after cooking dinner, I'm going to sit down again tonight now and start taking all of the other stuff off. I'm gonna have to do it over the next couple of nights and then get some software in then to clean the computer completely, and then hopefully then we can get back to normal. But I have to say the guys have been very understanding. Um, since Christmas, I have to say, because I've been sick and all of that, and then we only got back, and then we were getting into a rhythm, and then all of that. But no, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of it. Someone, as I've always said, these fans or these so-called fans are just as bad as the people that are running the show because they went along with this. They stayed silent for far too long, right? Because these people look at, if they side with them, they're getting perks and everything, showing up at all of these special filmings and all. They all brag about it. This is why they won't talk out negative about it, right? And when people talk negative about it, what do? They jump straight in and defend it. They're the problem. They could see the problems that we can, right? But it benefits to keep stum, right? And that's what makes me sick, right? They're just as bad, right? Because this is a show that they claim to love, right? And adore just as much as we do. But yet we'll sit back and let this nonsense continue season after bloody season. I mean, Big Finish 2 million in debt. Jordan, the Chris Chibnall era. I'm going to remind you of stuff now because everybody needs reminding. Remember, Doctor Who magazine was on its last legs as well. Do you remember they were given nearly not? They were given 90%. What was it? 80% off if you ordered online for a month or so. They were giving you 80% off. And I think it was so for a month off. I think it was over 50% or whatever it was. Right? There was literally like a fire sale for that magazine to try and get people to buy it. And we kept telling the people behind the magazine, you keep putting Jodie Whittaker on the cover, it's not going to sell. As soon as they didn't put her on the cover, it sold. Right? It's sold. Right? RTD comes back, his first issue of Doctor Who magazine sells out. Right? It sold out, folks. Right? I even ordered it, and then what happened was I ordered it from the Who shop. Right? He kept telling me that it was being delivered, that it left their shop and it was in a depot and it was on the way. Right? 3, 4 weeks later, still no sign of it. Right? I even took into account that there was a postal strike in the UK at the time. So I gave it a few more weeks, nothing. The wife emails them. They kind of get snotty with her, and then I just cancelled my order. Right? But I couldn't get me. The point is, I couldn't get a hold of the fucking magazine. It was sold out, and I think I don't know if they reissued it, but I do remember then it was available again for another short time. Right? So you know, because at the time RTD was perceived he was going to come back to save the show, and we knew very little, and the magazine done well. Now I don't know how it's doing now since he's done the Christmas special and stuff like that. Um, and there you go. Nicholas has just said he's just bought put it up on screen there. I'll read some of these comments now anyway. Because if I continue this rant, I don't want to rant. Well, it's too late now because I've already had the rant. But I'm so disgusted at these fans as well because one word from them, they start to pipe up. Then the showrunner's in trouble. Then BBC is on the back foot, right? And then they have to do something about it. But they continue to go along with it because, as I said, it benefits to keep your mouth shut. And we've seen that because they post their photographs and they brag about going to all of these screenings, special screenings, and all of this, and receiving merch and all. So it pays to shut your mouth, to be a coward, to be a traitor to the show that you say you love. I just bought the latest issue of Doctor Who magazine, says Nicholas Horton. Well, let's go up through use our comments there, and I'll obviously give you a bit of a shout out as well because obviously we got a lot of in the chat there, so I'll give you a bit of a shout out. We got Lindsay in the chat. How are you, Lindsay? And Lindsay just said hi there. We got Cinnamon Toast Crunch in the chat as well. I have the hiccups now because see, I'm about to get myself I'm about to get myself all roiled up over this now. TARDIS time is in the chat, and he also wrote this. Knew this would happen. They hired bad, inexperienced writers who can't take criticism. Get rid of popular actors because they don't agree with their opinions, and their prices are too high. Says TARDIS time, and that's really the nuts and crannies of it as well, isn't it? Cinnamon said there in relation to Big Finish. Big Finish, shame to see a company close to my heart in a bad place. I agree. And Lindsay has a few of their CDs there. That's fantastic. See, there is a Big Finish fandom as well, you know, and it's actually quite sizable. Who else have we got in the chat? We've got Michael, who was asking, "What's going on, Noel? Big Finisher, 2 million in debt, and I've had to take out a bank loan to stay afloat." Is basically the nooks and crannies of it. Who else have we got? We got the one and only, we co-host, uh, who I am missing. I'm missing them all. I have to be honest. I am missing the guys. But this is just a necessity for the moment, guys. You know, I'll get you back on as soon as I bloody can because I do like the banter between us all. But he says there, Rabbi was right over this one. Rabbi, when he, well, Rabbi's kind of out, but Rabbi gets Big Finish quite a lot. So if anybody is going to know anything about Big Finish, it's Rabbi because he's engrossed. We got JWC Reviews. He's saying good evening to everybody there. Welcome, JWC. Who else have we got? We got Inspector hashtag 23. Silence will fall on Big Finish. Well, I hope not. I listen. I'll be. You know, look. While it's kind of what they deserve, at the same time, the fans don't. Fans of Big Finish don't. This is why I keep talking about Doctor Who and I keep fighting for it, even though I've gotten to the end of me tether a few times. Someone has to fight its corner because these fans will just keep selling out, you know. And it's not nice on the Big Finish fans. They're probably all sitting there now tonight thinking, you know, will I ever get sequels to my favorite audios? Will any new you know what I mean? That's it's sad. Who else have we got in the chat? We got Peter Harrington in the chat as well. He says good evening to all there. So welcome, my good friend. Nice to see you all there. And who else have we got? I think I've got everybody now. Nicholas Horton, as I said, is there as well. So let me see. In relation to Doctor Who magazine, it's full of crap anyway, has been since 2018. Not worth £8. Some are even more expensive. He thinks it's a rip-off. Um, Peter says he's going to buy Doctor Who magazine 600, and that's the end for me. And he says 7.99 is far too much for its content, and that's Doctor Who magazine. Cinnamon, of course, he says I personally like the magazine, but if you have issues with the current era, it's not for you. Hasn't been the same since at least early 2010. Um, Peter also said I stopped Big Finish about 6 years ago. They start making multiple box sets far too expensive. Uh, they need to go back to basics. Um, Cinnamon says he doesn't mean to be edgy, but as the Joker said, you get what you effing deserve. I don't think Big Finish fans deserve it. I don't think Doctor Who fans deserve this. The ones that have sold out are unforgivable. Um, but we don't deserve this. We've tried to fight our corner. We've tried to voice our opinions and our concerns, but we're being ignored. So that's why I'm more angry at these people because these people will then go and defend the showrunner and say that we're toxic and call us every name under the sun and slander us in the name of these showrunners and in the name of what they're protecting. They're protecting their cozy little, you know, cozy little benefits. In my opinion, that Doctor Who Big Finish is not canon. Well, Doctor Who Big Finish, a lot of fans do see it as separate. So it used to be 350, but they put it up and up. Like everything, everything does go up with inflation, doesn't it? But still, it's still very expensive. Uh, and that's from the Real Super Doctor who's just popped in there. So hello to you as well, Real Super Doctor. Welcome. Magazines and comics are expensive though. The Beano is £6. Jesus Christ, man! I remember they used to put them in the newspapers for free. Fuck's sake, man. Jesus, how bad it is. We got the Time Muddler in the chat as well. Welcome, and he says, or she says, sorry, I go through the motions. I buy the magazine and stick it on the shelf. Nothing appeals in it. Cinnamon says, even the most recent storylines of Big Finish have been getting ridiculous. Having Jackie Tyler meeting River Song and the sixth and the eighth Doctors. My God. Yeah, because they've no imagination. So they have to always bring back characters that are popular and stuff like that and try to disguise their bad writing in that way. Uh, Lindsay says lots of posts about fugitive figure on Facebook, people showing her off and putting her in front of Hartnell in their displays. So disrespectful. Well, let them. They're just doing that to get a reaction, and I'm not going to react to dumb shit like that. To be quite honest with you, Joe Martin has a doll, and at the bottom line, the matter is that if I had a choice to buy her doll or Jodie Whittaker's, I'd buy Joe Martin's over Jodie Whittaker's anyway. So it's not an issue. It's a doll. People will buy it if they want to buy it. People won't buy it if they don't want to buy it. If people, you know what I mean? At the end, it's like the Timeless Children, isn't it? Some fans think it's canon. The majority of fans don't believe it's canon. Big Finish is a nice add-on. Well, it used to be. Beano £6, says Peter. Yeah, I agree with you. That's a bit. That's a lot for Beano, isn't it? I mean, come on. I don't know. It's all getting silly, throwing together characters just to get people to buy. Exactly, and real fans can see through that shit. That's the thing. They knew it with Time Lord Victorious as well. They read that Time Lord Victorious over multiple platforms didn't do as well as they were probably banking on. Remember, there was a big ad campaign for that as well. So John the White's tweet is probably I would say is pretty accurate there. They were kind of as well with the 60th anniversary coming up as well. They were probably banking on making some money and maybe reducing their debt even further, but that hasn't transpired. Uh, the Fugitive Doctor is in Big Finish as well. Wonder how her story sold. Some people were saying though, JWC reviews, that her stories are actually quite decent and that she was actually very good on audio. Now I can't actually confirm that because I haven't seen it. Um, but uh, for the few minutes that she was on screen, I've always said this anyway. The two of them are not the caliber of actress that you need to be playing Doctor Who anyway. But out of the two of them, Joe Martin, in the few minutes that she played the Doctor, showed a lot more than what Jodie Whittaker did. Also, her unboxing, she did an unboxing video herself where she received it and she was humming Doctor Who music. You could tell that this woman is definitely a fan of the show and she couldn't believe that she had her own doll, right? And she said, "Oh, it's official." She was actually bloody chuffed. Have to say, she looked really delighted, right? Again, Joe Martin is one of those. We don't ever know if we ever would have liked the Fugitive Doctor or not because she wasn't fucking written well, right? She was never written well by Chid. She was just introduced, and then she had a couple of lines of dialogue, and then he brings her back. Then do you remember? Not even properly, right? So he didn't do that character. So we'll never know if we actually would have ended up liking Joe Martin's Fugitive Doctor. But you know what? I'm happy for her that she's happy. I just see again, people call me a racist and all say this, that, and the other, right? The bottom line is, if these characters are fucking well written and portrayed fucking properly, even if you go against what I believe the character should be and this, that, and the other, right? If it's done fucking well, as a fan, we all fucking adapt. We've adapted to big changes before. For fuck, get the boat, man. That's what it's all about. Well, it's a figure doll. I call them dolls, but a figurine. She got her own figurine. Um, but they talk about plastic. JWC. They put loads of plastic toys on the front of Beano to get mums hassle into buying it. Same as putting sweets beside the checkout in supermarkets. Exactly that. I know. I saw that out years ago, even as a fucking kid. They always put the chocolate in the sweets because kids. Oh, they knew exactly what they were fucking doing. And you're right. We put toys in these magazines now to kind of entice the kids. Listen, if you have a shit ton of money and stuff, you wouldn't give a shit, really, would you? But we're all fucking struggling here, so our entertainment's getting more expensive, and just shit keeps happening. There you go. Lindsay said the Doctor Who magazine in 1994 was 250, and that was pretty pricey back then, and that would have been pretty pricey in 1992. For I was 15. Yeah, 15. Yeah, I know you're laughing at that one, Holton, and welcome to the chat as well. Um, yeah, they're figurines. I always say doll for some weird reason. Um, they haven't released them yet, apparently. Well, I thought here I saw it different to everybody, right? I must be just a fan, so really. I never looked at the time. What? Let's see. I never looked at the time Lord Victorious. Thank God. Well, the trailer was pretty impressive. But Rabbi, as far as I know, was the one that actually brought elements to it, and he learned very quickly that it was not good. He did like, of course, with everything. He mightn't have liked some elements of it, but he did like some elements. He didn't hate everything. This is the thing that people think, that we hate everything. No, we don't hate everything. JWC review says, I wonder how much Zeus Kampner and that Doomsday crap cost Big Finish. Doubt it's sold out. Well, see, that's going to come back and bite them. And I knew that would come back and bite them, right? When she started, listen, when people saw the trailer, right, it was awful, right? I don't care what people say on the left, right side of this family, right? It was bloody awful. Her acting was awful, right? And it was rightly criticised, okay? But the problem is that the woman could not take the criticism, right? And then she stayed silent while other people came out and defended her. And actually, someone came out and made a Star Wars reference saying that she could take on the Doctor Who fandom. Within a couple of days, everybody in the fandom was finding out that if you challenge Suze Kempner, what happens is she blocks you, right? So for all of this crap of taking on the fandom, she ran away like most cowards do in the fandom when they're called out for their absolutely horrendous acting. The bottom line is, you're going to come out with some crap, right, and defend some stance, and then fans come out and give you rightly criticism for your acting, and you can't act that, well, then you're in the wrong industry. Stay an activist. Scott Stavros, friends, wrestle pop cultures also in the chat. Welcome. Let the show burn. No point. It's Doctor Who anymore. I think some are addicted to disappointment. Doctor Who died in 2017. Anyway, well, that's your opinion, Daniel, and you're entitled to that opinion. But a lot of fans would be of a different opinion. That's why this fandom is so great, because we all have different opinions. And it's actually Big Finish we're talking about today, not the main show. But you are right, the whole system that's in place is actually a problem now. A few people are saying Rabbi is also not very happy about this situation. Not surprised. Uh, Blocked by the deadliest assassin in the universe. Ironic says, "Yeah, I know. That's what I said. When I did get blocked by her. It was actually funny because, like, all I did was I got a trailer and I just improved on it, but and yeah, obviously didn't like the improvement. But there you go. What can you do? Um, that's what all these people are like in this fandom. They hate being challenged, right? But then to their supporters, they make out that they're the big cheeses, and then they come up with the excuses and why they won't debate you and all of this and make it out that you're the bad person in all of this. And this is what has been happening in our fandom for a very long, long time. And these fans, the same fans that are supporting this shit, right, that's making everything crumble around us now, right, are the very ones that will come out then and send mobs to Twitter accounts or Instagram accounts or whatever social media account you have if they don't agree with your opinion. And then they make out then when you defend yourself, then they make themselves out to be the victim. And this is what they do time and time again. But more and more people, listen, there's one, I won't mention the YouTube channel, but there was a YouTube channel out there. He was high profile and then he changed gender. That's all I'll say. um, an older man. So I want to make it clear because someone will think I'm talking about them because they have a big ego. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about this person. But even they lately have been coming out and criticizing RTD and have criticized the direction the show is going in and the mistakes that they're making. So there are people that were all down for all of this so-called message that are starting to maybe realize that when it comes to Doctor Who, maybe the message isn't the most important thing. It's the writing and the character development, the things that made Doctor Who a special show. That's what it was with Doctor Who. It was never the budget with Doctor Who, right? Because Doctor Who didn't have a budget. So what they relied on was they relied on the talent of the pool of writers that they had out there to create something amazing, develop characters, develop stories, plots, subplots, everything that Doctor Who fans enjoy. And we haven't had that for a very long time, right? Have you noticed since more money has been injected into the show, the quality of the show has gotten less, right? This has never been a money issue, never been a money issue, right? This is just a writer issue. This is just BBC and now Bad Wolf Studios, because it's headed by RTD, just not being up to the job of doing what's right by Doctor Who. I've said this for a long time on this channel. BBC did not realise what they have, right? And they never will by the looks of things, right? Disney might think they're onto something there, but they'll never fully realise it 'cause they think by throwing money at it, that's the best solution, right? You want Doctor Who to be one of the biggest shows on the planet, you go back to basics. You go back to stripping the show back, right? It's as simple as that. Back to character development, back to great story writing, right? Not every bloody story has to be on Earth either. You can have we can have the space stations, the fucking quarries, all of that shit. We don't give a shit. Go back to basics, right? Obviously, you can spend a bit of money on your monsters and stuff like that if you wanted to obviously make them a bit because it's obviously 2024. But that's the extent of it all, right? You shouldn't be paying for big trips abroad and filming abroad anymore, right? That bullshit should be done with, right? You save money where you can. You Doctor Who, listen, you give them a certain budget, right? That's it, right? And say that's what you have to work with. You're not getting any more money. That's what you have to work with. So you make sure you produce the best thing that you can. Get the best writers in. Get the best. Get the best in class in the team behind it. You don't need the best in class on fucking screen. If they've got good scripts, the scripts will elevate them. That's the whole fucking point, right? With Peter Capaldi, he was getting mediocre scripts, but he elevated them. That's why a lot of people love Peter Capaldi, is because they know that he elevated a lot of those fucking scripts because of his acting and his talent and his ability to kind of understand what Moffat was trying to convey. Sadly, that's what will happen. Personally, I don't think I don't think they will take no notice, no turnaround, run it into the ground until it's cancelled. More than likely. And PD says, well, BBC take note of Big Finish's demise, as that will be you in 3 to 5 years' time. Holton says, I've been watching Trek original series and the black and white Twilight Zone beats everything out today, says Holton. And Daniel, on relation to Big Finish, says Big Finish started to really struggle with both Lovecraft and the Stranded series. The decline was sped by Time Lord Victorious and Doomsday. And Daniel was actually covering Finish on his channel because Daniel had become a pretty, I would say he was becoming a quite a fan of Big Finish, and now there's another thing that's being taken from him. You said it now, terrible writing and constantly inserting contemporary progressive issues and politics as we've been telling them for 7 years. It just does not work. They don't listen, PD, and that's the problem that we have, mate. And nothing will ever change. But it's up to those fans that have sold out as well to, you know, start coming to the realization that they're actually not doing any good by protecting the agenda. Um, their first priority should be protecting Doctor Who. And as they're the closest to the production team, they're the ones that I'm most angry at because they have also facilitated in this downfall. No matter what they say, they have. Right? There's not one of those YouTubers or big channels out there, right, that constantly give out and do hit pieces on fans like me. I've had the balls to come out and tell the truth about the state of actually what's going on. And now Big Finish now looks like it's in an awful state. So, look, it's over. First Big Chief, now Big Finish, soon character options, says Joran Jack Rabbit, and welcome to the chat, mate. And you know what? On that note, I think I've said all I need to say on this situation. But what a sad situation! And again, my message to all you sellouts out there, you know, why wait for Big Finish to go down before you make the realization that maybe this isn't the right thing or the right direction for the show or for any of its franchises. You really need to wake up now because if Big Finish goes down and when ultimately Doctor Who goes down, it won't be just the BBC and the people that have mismanaged the show that will be held responsible. You guys in the fandom that facilitated all of this will also be held responsible for the demise of this franchise. And if you can live with that, then, well, it shows me he's a character, you can live with that. But I don't think any fan could live with that if they knew that what they stood by was responsible for the destruction of this franchise. Well, it's kind of what you wanted. You were saying it during the Jodie Whittaker era anyway, that this show that we grew up with was going to change. And if we weren't on board with it, why would we be on board with this? Doctor Who magazine nearly goes out of existence during the Chibnall era. Right now, Big Finish is on its last legs. 2 million in debt. 2 million in debt. We've showed, by the way, go back earlier to the stream. Anybody that's joined, we've actually showed the statement, so it's fact. This isn't me spreading rumor or speculation. It's actually fact from their own accounts. 2 million in debt. They've had to take out a loan of 144,000 or something to stay afloat this year. They're 2 million in debt. And by the way, even though, you know, some people believe Big Finish is not canon, and that would be probably the majority of fans. The thing about it is that it all stems back to the main show. Because Doctor Who, the main show, the brand that Big Finish makes the audios based off, well, if your main show is struggling, then all the other parts struggle. But if you were to listen to certain YouTubers out there, they tell you that everything is rosy in the garden of Doctor Who. Oh, the ratings are fine. Everything is fine. This is modern TV habits. Everything is grand. But the stark reality is, folks, is that everything is not grand, right? And that the fans of the actual show, Doctor Who, are disenfranchised, right? So that's the stark reality. So to all of you kids out there that listen to these bigger YouTubers telling you that everything is rosy in the garden of Doctor Who, you really need to wake up and smell the coffee, because the situation is more stark and more dire than you can ever imagine. This is what we've been trying to warn you for the last 5, 6, 7 years in some cases. Right? We have warned you about this, right? And we've been nothing but had our names dragged through the fucking mud, dragged through social media, called all the names under the sun. We warned you that this was going to happen. Right? And remember, we're actually in an era where audio books are very popular, right? So in reality, Big Finish shouldn't be really doing too bad in today's society, right? People like to listen to books when they're on the bus or on a train journey or go heading to work or coming home from work and stuff, rather than listen to music. There is no way that Big Finish should be in dire straits. And then you've got to ask, why are they in dire straits? Right? And then you can look at the management and say, well, there's been a mismanagement. And the mismanagement has been you've been hiring people that are not good enough. So what did you expect? What did you expect? Did you just think because Big Finish had a loyal following, oh, it's grand, we could put out rubbish month after month after month, they'll keep buying it. And then remember, people in the fandom say, oh, the Big Finish audios are selling well, they're doing great. And then you had one gobshite Oh, I'm not buying this Big Finish audio because it's got James Dreyfus in it. So I'm having nothing to do with it. Blah, 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 blah. So again, these people are actually helping facilitating Big Finish's downfall, right? Because we're coming out and giving out about an audio because James Dreyfus was in it because he didn't like his opinions on transgenderism. So again, the message is more important than Big Finish. They will literally do anything to have anybody fired that does not or have audios banned. Remember when Noel Clark was accused by the newspapers, but then was never charged because there was never any investigation. The police says that he's basically innocent. No charges, no nothing, no crime reports, no nothing. Right? And then all of these lunatics in the family, all right, you better ban these audios, right? That's what they do, right? There's been a mismanagement of the show, mismanagement of Big Finish, mismanagement of Doctor Who magazine. But in saying that, Doctor Who magazine has been up and down, in fairness, and there are issues where they do get it right. You know, it's not bad all the time, but the majority of it is. You know, so they're too far entrenched in all of this now. So prepare yourselves, guys. Prepare yourselves, right? Big Finish is probably going to be the first thing to fall, right? Unless someone steps in, right? Now, it can either be the fans that step in, which I don't think the fans will, and I can't blame them, or RTD personally, or someone, lobbies for someone to help Big Finish out, or someone actually just helps them out and clears their debt, right? But we do know it's not going to be. I'd be very surprised if Disney bail out Big Finish, right? Because they've got their own financial problems. There's no way they can add an extra 2 million. Take 2 million. No. So that's it, man. We just got to. I told you, we just have to sit back now and see where all of this takes us now. And remember, the main show comes back now soon, and you know, if that goes in the direction that we all think it's going to go in, then the main show as well on top of that. And remember, that's the shows, as I said, whatever happens, the main show has repercussions for everything else around it, right? So if the main show continues to diminish further into the woke ideology, right? Well, then it's done. It's done for. We're going to have to sit back as Doctor Who fans and watch on as our show gets completely and utterly destroyed and dragged through the mud before it's finally put down. And it is emotional thinking about that. Obviously, if I was talking about this 2 or 3 years ago, I'd probably be in tears right now. Right? But this is emotional, man. This is a show that's very dear to my heart. And there's nothing I can do. There's literally nothing I can do. And that's the worst thing being a Doctor Who fan. Us fans that love this show, there's nothing we can do. Just we're just as helpless as every other fan out there, but even more so because they've even changed the origins of their central character already. Right, so we've had to suffer with that and deal with that, and now we're going to be dealing with other stuff in the future. And I know all these people that have walked away, right? And they say they've walked away. And they have, right? They have walked away. But the thing about this, they still check out what's going on with the show. So deep down, even though they've walked away, there's still there's still fans out there that want to know what's happening with Doctor Who because they love it that much. They just can't bring themselves to watch it anymore. And those fans, I actually feel sorry for them. I'm heartbroken for them. But they don't care. If RTD was to listen to this now, this whole live stream, he wouldn't care what I have to say. And that's the thing that hurts even more. It's the same with our society. Nobody wants to listen. Once people have their mind made up and they have a certain agenda or they have certain points of view or they follow a certain cause, that's it. You're either on board with them or you're not. There used to be a time where there was room for debate and conversation. Not anymore. And that's the sad thing about this. The people that are supposed to be taking care of our show and keep safeguarding its gardening it for future generations, hopefully, that could enjoy this show. And they're not listening to the people that have grew up with it and saying, hey, listen, this is why you're in the state that you're in. You know, we believe you need to do this, that, and the other, but at the end, it's your decision. But even if he listened, even if he just listened, even if he didn't agree, just sit there and listen. You're listening to the wrong people, Russell. That's all I will tell you. Because some of these fans have been putting up comments about having conversations with you, and that disturbs me. You're listening to the wrong people, mate. You need to be listening to the people that genuinely love this show. They can tell you what's wrong with this show and how you can fix it. But at least listen and say that you've taken it on board. Something. But look, I'm not naive anymore, right? That's never going to happen. So we've just got to see what unfolds for our beloved show and just hope that it could come out the other side and its reputation is not further damaged. But I'd have to say that's literally impossible for that not to happen now. Um, and then with all the stuff going on with Millie Gibson as well, which is it's just a complete mess. It's a complete and utter mess. You know what? These last few years have utterly broken me as a Doctor Who fan. Unbelievable. Anyway, as I said, there's no more for me to say on this, because what else can you say? That's the thing. Whatever's going to happen with Big Finish will happen with Big Finish. Um, if it goes, obviously, I will be I'll be thinking of those fans that are fans of the Big Finish franchise because they'll be utterly devastated. But we'll have that to come when our show gets shelved. But I think we'll be slightly different. There'll be a bit of relief as well as obviously grieving. And I know the other side of the fandom will laugh at that, right? But that's what it'll be like because you will never get it. This is what I keep saying to these type of fans. They will never get the emotional attachment that we have to this franchise. Anyway, it will survive now 3 or 5 years time. Someone with talent may revive the show again. Well, You know me, PD. I used to be very optimistic and say, yeah, maybe that could be the saving grace, but I'm even starting to believe that that's bullshit now. Um, I don't think it will survive if it doesn't drastically change course, and I mean drastically. Anyway, guys, it's the weekend, so I want you to enjoy it. Look after yourselves, and yourselves. Chill out. There's a few football matches on over the weekend. I think we're on as well. So I'm gonna probably watch that and stuff and chill and stuff. But I'll probably have a couple of pre-records over the weekend, so look out for them. And as well, apparently, actually, hold on, let's see if I can do it now while I'm here before I do go. Where is my mobile phone? Oh, there. I'm an idiot. Yeah, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already, of course. Right, I just want to check something out and see if this works. Right, I'll know now, so I'll go in. Let's see. No, I think I have to do it in. I think I have to do it in on the YouTube studio. Let's see. Try that again. We'll try this person. Hold on. What's going on here? All right, let's try. No, I don't know what's going on. My phone actually freezing here. What? What? That never happens with this phone. That's the first time that's happened. Do you know what? I'm starting to think I might be fucking hacked or something. Not hacked, but someone is piggybacking off me internet or something. Been acting weird. Or maybe the phone needs to be updated. It'll tell me later on. There'll be a message to let me know. No, I think I have to do it in the YouTube studio. But what you call it? All will be revealed soon. Anyway, going to leave it there. I want to thank you all for joining me. I really appreciate it. Um, and as I said, I'll have a couple of pre-records over the weekend, and of course, then we'll continue that over the week as well. Um, there's plenty to talk about. The Millie Gibson story will still be developing because RTD still and others have remained Soylent, and also we'll be discussing the laziness of the new Who Doctor Who box sets. It seems to be all this generic, bleeding, feckin' neon lions and squares and crap. Uh, there's no imagination going into the DVD box sets anymore like the old days. And I want to discuss that as well. So I'll be doing a little pre record on that and other little topics in relation to Doctor Who. Back like what we used to do in the old days, folks. That's how most of you became subscribers on my channel. I was getting a bit worried yesterday because I put up a few pre-records yesterday and I saw the numbers were really low at first, but then seeing people then start watching them over the night and all. It must have been the times that I put them up anyway, but it's nice to see that everybody then went and start watching them and leaving comments and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll continue them going, get the momentum going on them, and then obviously then you will get used to them again, and then hopefully then the numbers go up to the way they were originally back in the day and stuff like that. That'll be great. Um, and of course, then we'll have our live streams. But what? Look, I'm considering this right. So think about it is with the computer in the state that it's in and all that. Um, what I'm considering doing now, I haven't made up my mind yet, and I'm gonna talk to people that I do have on my channel. But what I'm thinking of doing is just doing one big major panel, say during the week when everybody is available, and having them all on at the same time on that panel. Then that way, then that frees up all the other days. Then where I can then start bringing on guests like we did with um Gothic therapy, and people like that. I could bring on other guests then as well and stuff like that, and try change things up for 2024. Um, because that's what we used to always do here on this channel, adapt all the time, stuff like that. And I haven't done anything new in a while, so it'd be nice to bring on some special guests as long as and as well as the panel that you are all used to, but to have them all on the same panel, coming together talking about topics in our world of Doctor Who. I think that would be a great idea. We'd have a bigger panel as well and stuff like that, and it'd be fun. It's always fun when we have the big panels. So I'm taking it doing it that way, but I haven't made up my mind yet because it means then that a lot of the other live streams would be gone, and I kind of still want to do the movie zone. I kind of still want to do classic Who zone, but at the same time, I'm actually enjoying doing these little pre-records and these little live streams like this. And it's not, I'm when I'm not getting any technical difficulties now. It always um seems a bit weird when I have guests on it with the computer. Now you just can't hack it. Do I sound? Yeah, because I just listen. I'm still adapting to this new mic. Um, do I sound muffled? Do I need to turn the volume up? Is the volume perfect? If I sit further away, is that better? If I move closer to the mic like this, is that better? So is closer better, or is this better? He's sitting back like this. So let me know which is better. I think. Right, I didn't write that. Troll alert in the chat. Where are they? That's not me. Yeah. Nothing better to do, no? Nothing better to do. Anyway. See, again, even when I'm talking facts in the show, the facts still have trolls coming in here because there's nothing better to do. But there you go. Daniel uh, sorted that out. Well done, man. Yeah, so if you think the mic sounds closer but a little away sounds good, if that makes sense. So about here, that'd be good, wouldn't it? Yeah. I don't see. I'm still adjusting. It's very hard to kind of do a mic test when you can't hear the feckin' mic and how loud it is. So I have to kind of judge it. You guys will have to be me judge. Now, once I have it at the pre-setting that I have it on that everybody is okay with, I'll leave it on that. Um, that's the only way I can do it. Anyway, but don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Anyway, guys, and as I said, you know, we'll see where we go with all of that other stuff. See if I can get everybody to kind of agree to stream on the same day, and if I can get them all to agree, then brilliant, brilliant. But I just seen the Gobby guy, the Gobster, just popped in there. Yeah. Sorry, I'll rephrase. The Gobster talks about things because that's the new name. And if you haven't been checking out his shorts or his videos on his channel, please do go and check them out. Um, but yeah, if you haven't seen it at the start, yeah, if anybody's come in late, yeah, go back to the beginning. I showed the screenshots of the screenshot of the post that was put up by someone that alerted to the fandom then went and checked obviously the accounts and got the screenshot of the accounts, and I've showed that as well. So Big Finish, 2 million in debt. Go woke, go broke. Keep telling them, don't listen. So, as I said, we'll see how this story develops. I'm pretty sure the Big Finish don't have a couple of hits on the horizon. Maybe I'm just gonna say this because I'm always the skeptic. Maybe that's why they made such a big deal of trying to get Christopher Eccleston, and getting Christopher Eccleston to agree was a coup for them. Now they might even try, because Peter Capaldi has been asked, and I think Matt Smith has been asked as well, hasn't he? And I think they've refused. If they could get them, see, they'll be desperate. So anyway, we leave it there. We leave it there. They have Christopher Eccleston. They got him already. Big Finish. They're doing Big Finish audios with Christopher Eccleston. That's what I'm saying. He wouldn't have been cheap. You're right. He's not cheap. He would have made a good bit of money doing that. So yeah, they're in trouble. Like, they're in serious trouble. Big Finish. It's sad. But to the fans that have been supporting the message and supporting all this, I've got one thing to say: traitors, traitors all is what yous are, and this is the result of yous backing all of this rubbish. Anyway, I will talk to you all very soon. Thank you for joining in the chat. This has been the Noel Zone. You've been listening to the Tarda Zone talks. We will be back again, as I said, with a few pre-records over the weekend, some topics that I want to cover. So come and join me for them, and what you call it. I hope you enjoy them, and keep supporting the channel as you have been doing by like, sharing, and of course, if you could subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, that would be absolutely fantastic. We'll see you for the next one, folks. Good evening, good night, wherever you are in the world. Enjoy your weekend. Stay safe. Look after yourselves, and I'll talk to you for the next one.